15 members of the leading opposition party in Zimbabwe, that is the Citizens Coalition for Change, have been suspended from 6 sittings of Parliament and had their pay withheld for 2 months. This happened earlier this week. The Parliamentary Speaker, Jacob Mudenda, made the announcement in reaction to demonstrations held by the CCC in the Legislative Chamber. The party spokesperson, Promise Mkwananzi, is our guest this morning on Newsfeed AM. Promise, thank you so much for your time and speaking to Newzroom Afrika. Are you going to take this lying down?
No, we are not. We have already stated that the recalled MPs were recalled mistakenly and unlawfully by a random person that is being used by the ruling ZANU-PF party to cause confusion and destabilization within the Citizens Coalition for Change. We have written to the Speaker to advise him that those recalls were a mistake. He must reinstate our members of Parliament within the next 14 days.
What do you mean by they were targeted by a random person?
Well, this is a person that has just been picked by the ruling parties ZANU-PF and purportedly installed as our Secretary General, a position that does not exist in our party. And it is that person that has written to Parliament and asked for the removal of our members of Parliament. It is quite curious that our President, Advocate Nelson Chamisa, did write to Parliament on the 11th of September, advising them on the correspondence protocol for our party. They did not respond. Secondly, Mr. Chamisa wrote again to clarify that this person was not a member of our party. And again, Parliament did not respond. But they were very quick to respond to the letter from this person, which is quite very, very suspicious.
And I want to talk about that further. If a political party, as the CCC has said to the legislature, this person who claims to be speaking on our behalf is not doing so with permission or a mandate from the party, why would the legislature simply not act on that? Because ultimately, parties deploy who they choose, don't they, to Parliament. And if they say the person is not rightfully appointed or duly appointed as a representative, surely it should be easy to resolve.
It should be easy to resolve in a normal democratic society where Parliament and governments and parties follow the rules and protocols and observe the constitutions of their country. But this is a peculiar situation in which we have a ZANU-PF government that is so disdainful of the laws of our country, that is so disdainful of the wishes and the will of the people of Zimbabwe, that is so disrespectful of the institutions of our country. And we have said that this must come to an end. We cannot continue to allow ZANU-PF to bastardize our institutions, to bastardize our laws, and to bastardize the will of the people of Zimbabwe. It is time that ZANU-PF respects the will of the people of Zimbabwe. Barely a month after rigging the presidential elections, they've now recalled our MPs on their 2nd sitting of Parliament. And you do see that this is an abnormality, and it must be stopped.
And it was said that in this letter, which you say basically was not sanctioned by the party, it informed, apparently, the legislature that these 15 members affected were no longer, shall we say, in good standing with the CCC. What is their status today?
Well, how do you say they're not in good standing with CCC? They were nominated by the CCC. They were supported by the CCC. They came to Parliament under the ticket of the CCC, and nothing has changed. They remain our members of Parliament. They remain in Parliament as far as we are concerned. That is why we have written to the Speaker to say you must rectify this error as a matter of urgency. And indeed, the whole group of our MPs have disengaged from Parliament for the next 14 days to show solidarity with the removed MPs, but also to demonstrate that this is a collective position of the party, that these MPs are indeed in good books with the party that got them elected into Parliament, and they must be reinstated.
And Promise, who do you believe is behind the letter that sparked all of this?
Well, it's clear. It's not even a matter of belief. It's a matter of fact. It is ZANU-PF that is behind this person and the letter that sought to destabilize and undermine our members of Parliament and our party and local authorities in general. This is not new. You will remember that in the previous parliamentary session, also we had our members of Parliament wantonly and arbitrarily recalled by yet another person that ZANU-PF had picked up to cause destabilization and disharmony in the opposition. It just goes to show you that the ruling ZANU-PF party, which is ruling illegitimately for that matter, has no respect for the wishes of the people of Zimbabwe, and they have no intention of respecting multi-party democracy in this country.
And on that point, let's talk about what is going on in the legislature, because there have indeed been protests, I understand, within the chamber by members of the CCC. What are those demonstrations about? What do you want to achieve? And is it even something that you can achieve when you consider, just based on the conversation we're having with you this morning, how completely fractured the relationship is between the CCC and the governing ZANU-PF? It doesn't appear to be a situation where you can find a common ground, or in fact a way in which you can play by the rules and basically go along to get along, or agree to disagree even.
Well, I think that we have to drag Mr. Mnangagwa kicking and screaming to the negotiating table. Mr. Mnangagwa lost elections. He's been there. He's there on an interim caretaker basis because he's an illegitimate president of this country. And there's nothing that is going to work in this country as long as that situation remains like that. So it is up to Mr. Mnangagwa to rise up to the occasion and engage with President Nelson Chamisa to find a lasting solution to the legitimacy and the deepening crisis in Zimbabwe. In as far as our members of parliament are concerned, I can tell you that we are ready to up the ante until these MPs are reinstated. We have already written to the Speaker to notify him that he must reinstate these members without delay because it was a mistake. We have also said our members of parliament and councillors will disengage from their offices for the next 14 days. But in addition to that, we have said that if this is not recognized, we are going to put this thing before the citizens of Zimbabwe to take matters into their own hands and to use every available means in the constitution and in the laws of our country to restore sanity and to bring back sense to the ZANU-PF people who are causing this mayhem that we have seen happening in Zimbabwe. The focus really must be on nation building, economic recovery, national unity, reconciliation, and so on and so forth. But here we've got people who have lost focus. We are focused on instead destabilizing the institutions that are supposed to facilitate the unity and development that we are talking about.
Promise Mkwananzi, good to have your time. Thank you so much for your time this morning. The Citizens Coalition for Change in Zimbabwe spokesperson Promise Mkwananzi speaking to us there.